So the other day I was trying this Moonboard problem, and I was struggling with the second move and trying to keep the foot in tension. Every time it would either ping off or I'd miss the handhold, just in general couldn't hold the position. So the move itself goes from these two holds out left, and my initial plan was to use the closest foothold on the kickboard, because I figured that the shorter distance between the two holds, the easier it would be to keep tension. But when that wasn't working and I tried a few other options, I realized it was easier to keep tension through the foothold further right, even though it's further away from the hand, which seemed kind of weird to me. I didn't really understand why. So I videoed it all and brought it in, and then we can sort of break it down and have a look at why that might be the case. So this is a successful attempt of using that further right foothold, and yeah, the foot sticks. So why does that work but that doesn't? My first plan was to trace the path of the hips to see if that was any different, but in reality, not really. Kind of the same path, just that the successful attempt was further to the right, which is probably only because the foot positions are further right as well. But yeah, not really any help as to why it was easier to keep tension through the foot. The next thing I wanted to look at was this angle through the left hand to left foot. For some reason this seemed kind of important, and in the successful one the line looks like better, like more stable for some reason, but I couldn't quite put my finger on why. What that did give me the idea of looking at was the base of support. So drawing a triangle from my 3 points of contact on the wall and ignoring the flagging leg, because although it is in contact with the wall, it's not in a fixed position. And also with the base of support was looking at the center of mass and where my center of mass is in the base of support. So here you can see with the line drawing down is where gravity is acting on my center of mass and how that falls in the base of support, versus in the successful attempt where the center of mass and gravity acting on the center of mass falls in the base of support, and it actually falls almost directly above the foothold, which suddenly I was like, oh okay, yeah, this kind of makes sense. My gravity is acting on my center of mass directly in line with the foothold that I'm using. So that was kind of clearly why it was easier to keep tension through the foot. And you can see in motion here, in the unsuccessful attempt, the center of mass and gravity acting on it doesn't quite get up to where the foothold is, so I'm having to apply some tension myself, sort of leftwards into that foothold, which is why it's harder to keep it on. Whereas in the successful attempt, the center of mass comes right up and lands perfectly above that foothold, that point of contact. So gravity is pulling my center of mass down on top of that foothold, meaning that I don't have to apply as much tension myself. I can let gravity do some of the work, which was great to know. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, that makes sense. It looks sensible, and that got me the send, and I learned something in the process. So hope that was interesting or useful to anyone out there.